Good evening, Richmond County, and welcome to another edition of the RO Sports Show, brought to you by Richmond Community College, local college, big impact. Richmond Senior High School students, coaches, and teachers returned to classes this week for the first time during the new year. And it's been a busy first week of 2020 in Richmond athletics, so let's jump right into starting with Raider boys basketball. We'll take you back all the way to Friday when Richmond took on Jack Britt in Fayetteville. Junior Nige Stroman went off for a season-high 27 points, which also matched his career high last season. The 6'7" forward made easy work of the Buccaneers' 2-3 defense in the early going to set the tempo for the Raiders. Richmond extended its program-best three-game winning streak against the Buccaneers with a 58-43 win. On Tuesday, Richmond continued their SAC campaign against Hoke County. On the road in Rayford, it was an atmosphere head coach Donald Pettigrew admitted is always, quote, a tough place to play. The Raiders took care of business with a 57-51 victory. Using a game-high 18 points from Stroman, Richmond held off a late push by the Bucks to move into first place all alone in the SAC standings. Pinecrest defeated Lumberton on Tuesday, the only other team without a conference loss. That put the Raiders at the top. Also having big night scoring were juniors P.J. McLaughlin and Dalton Stroman, whose 14 and 10 points respectively were season highs. On the boards, senior Jarvis Tillman collected a team-high 8 rebounds to go along with his 5 points. Caleb Hood, Dalton Stroman, and Nige Stroman each crashed the glass 6 times. The Raiders took a 42-27 lead into the start of the fourth quarter, but Hoke County used a 19-11 run to pull within 7 points with just over 3 minutes remaining. With the clock winding inside the final 15 seconds, junior Caleb Hood was fouled, and he converted on both of his free throws to secure the win. The Raiders, now 10-2, will welcome in 11-2 Lumberton tomorrow night for a big SAC showdown. Game time is set for 7:30 p.m. at Raider Gymnasium. The Lady Raiders have an even busier week, seeing 3 games played. Starting with Thursday, Richmond welcomed in Anson. Nearly 2 weeks after the Anson Holiday Classic was canceled, Richmond hosted the Lady Bearcats in a makeup contest. Head coach Teddy Mosley arranged for Anson to make the trip east to see the two teams play for the 3rd time this winter. It was also a chance for Richmond to stay active off a nearly week-long break. The Lady Raiders completed the regular season series sweep with a 60-32 win on their home floor. It was also Richmond's 3rd straight win, the 2nd time this season it's won 3 in a row. But that streak would end once again as Richmond traveled to Jack Britt on Friday. They dropped the SAC contest 64-40. At the end of play, Richmond was the only team in the SAC without a conference win besides Hoke County. Head coach Teddy Mosley knew ahead of the game that the Lady Buccaneers were a well-coached team that ran a tough defense. His Lady Raiders ran into that wall of defense and scored the fewest amount of points in their last 5 games. One bright spot for Richmond was senior guard Kiana Love, who netted a team-high 15 points. She would finish the first half with 9 points and saw 13 of her points come in the second and third quarters. On Tuesday, the Lady Raiders found their first SAC win of the season against Hoke County, using a season-high 21 points from Love and 11 more points from freshman Kyla Sampson. Richmond topped the Lady Bucks 64-42. Love was big for the Lady Raiders on the opening and closing ends of the game, scoring 7 points in the first quarter and then sealing the deal with 8 more points in the fourth. Off the opening tip, Richmond controlled the tempo of the game, rolling out to an 18-0 lead. Love's 7 points came in that span, and Sampson banked a 3-pointer off the glass. Richmond will now prepare to host Lumberton tomorrow night at 6 p.m. in another pivotal SAC contest. And a quick shout out to the 2 JV basketball teams in a scrappy back and forth affair against Hoke County. The boys emerged victorious behind a final score of 72-66. The win put Richmond at 8-3 overall and 2-2 against SAC opponents. A couple of nights after rolling past Jack Britt, the JV Lady Raiders knocked off the Lady Bucks 45-22. The win proved to be the team's 2nd in a row against SAC opponents, and it brought Richmond's record to 4-4 overall and 2-2 in the SAC. Both JV teams will be traveling to Lumberton on Friday. Up next is the Joel McCanna Invitational recap, Hamlet Middle School basketball, and the official Richmond County Athletes of the Week. But first, a word from Richmond Community College.
Engineering influences every aspect of our lives, from the cars we drive to the computers we use. Every modern convenience we enjoy is a direct result of the innovative work of engineers and technicians. At Richmond Community College, we are educating the next generation who will be maintaining or improving upon these products and services. Our students work with programmable logic controllers, experiment with solar energy, design and create objects with a three-dimensional printer, and operate cutting-edge machinery. Students can choose from a number of programs such as mechatronics, welding, mechanical engineering, electronics engineering, electric utility substation and relay technology, and industrial systems. Programs that equip our students with skills for 21st century jobs. Innovative and progressive, Richmond Community College is committed to building a brighter future for its students and the communities it serves in Richmond and Scotland counties. Visit our website today.
The Richmond wrestling team wrapped up its third and final holiday break tournament Saturday at Scotland High School, competing in the 10-team Joel McCanna Invitational named for the former Scotland coach with over 300 career wins. The Raiders battled their way to a third-place finish. Richmond would collect a 3-1 overall record with wins over Fairmont, St. Paul's, and Westover. The Raiders opened with a 66-18 win over Fairmont, defeated Westover 46-26, and made quick work against St. Paul's 55-18 in the third-place match. The lone loss of the day was a 57-15 defeat to Laney, which head coach Earl Nicholson explained was one of the top-ranked teams in the state. Laney would go on to finish 4-0 and win the tournament, and Montgomery Central placed second ahead of Richmond. Richmond was without 7 varsity wrestlers in the McCanna Invitational, Nicholson said, noting they were either injured, sick, or out of town for the holidays. Senior Joey Nicholson was back after missing the Holy Angels tournament last week, but wrestled through an injury involving dislocated fingers. The Raiders will return to SAC action on Wednesday on the road at Purnell Sweat. Richmond will battle the host Rams and Lumberton. It's now time for your middle school sports report, and for the first time in the new year, the Hamlet girls basketball team hit the floor for its home opener on Monday. Hosting Spring Hill, the Lady Red Rams cruised to a 47-20 win over the Lady Spartans. 8th grader Rylan Lyerly was the pace setter for Hamlet, scoring a game-high 21 points in the win. First-year head coach Mitch Coe saw his team improve to 2-1 on the young season. Lyerly didn't waste any time getting on the board as she scored 8 points in the first 10-minute running clock period. She followed up with 3 more field goals and a free throw in the second quarter to enter the break with 15 points. Hamlet will look to earn its 3rd win of the season today when the Lady Red Rams make the road trip to Rayford to play West Hoke. The Hamlet boys basketball team showed a little rust early during Monday's game against Spring Hill, but the Red Rams would overcome the slow start on defense and use a strong offense led by J.V. Drake, Tristan Wall, and David McNair to defeat the Spartans 42-30 in their home opener. Behind, quote, running the system, head coach Keith Parsons' team would force 36 turnovers and collect 26 steals. Drake was the game's leading scorer with 17 points and finished with a double-double with 10 steals, also a team high, helping the Red Rams off to a 3-0 start. Hamlet will also be traveling to West Hoke today to play the Tigers in another conference matchup. That game is getting underway right now. It's time for the official Richmond County Male and Female Athletes of the Week, presented to you by Moss Brothers Tires and Service. We're starting with junior basketball player Nige Stroman. The Richmond basketball team is off to its best start under third-year head coach Donald Pettigrew and currently sits 9-2 overall and a perfect 3-0 in SAC play. Staying busy over the holiday break, Stroman showed out in the Raiders' lone game last week. This is Stroman's 2nd career selection, also earning it as a sophomore last year.
So Nige, you and the Raiders are off to a 9-2 start, perhaps even bigger, 3-0 in conference. So it's a big turnaround from last year. So the first question to you, what's been the biggest difference from last year's team to this year's team?
We're all playing as one. Like, we believe in each other, and we're not really selfish. We play as a team, and we don't believe one person is better than the other. We all the same.
Team is obviously a big concept, but what's something you've seen improve in yourself in your game?
Maybe like my shooting hasn't been on this year, so last game I brought it up more. Like I pushed it in transition and scored on the inside, and I was being strong around the basket. So.
Yeah, talking about being strong around the basket, you seemed to play well at Jack Britt last year. You had a game-winning layup in the final seconds. This year, you tie your career high with 27. So, what is it about playing there that you seem to go off and be successful?
I have no idea, honestly. I just, I played my game, and once coach told me, we need you to play big, start playing big. I haven't had my best game yet, so that just drove me to go out there and play harder.
What worked well for you to score 27?
I just kept attacking the holes in the defense, and they kept leaving me open, and it was easy for me to score.
Now the team's conference schedule kind of starts to pick up this week. You guys have Hope County Tuesday, and then you got to host Lumberton Friday, who's 11-1. So can you just kind of describe the mood in the locker room right now as you guys prepare for this long haul?
Well, we know it's going to be two tough games because it's hard even though Hope doesn't have the best record, it's going to be hard to get a win there because of the environment. And Lumberton, it's usually always a tough game against them, but we just coming in as a regular game, preparing, practicing hard, ready to go out there and give it all that we got.
What's something that the team hopes to kind of keep going?
We just trying to keep winning, win conference. That's the goal, taking one game at a time. We want to go 14-0 again in conference and, win conference and make a long run to the state championship.
Sounds like a plan. Now, Najee, just a couple of last questions here. What's your favorite type of dunk to perform?
Whichever one I feel like doing at the time. I really can't say, Maybe I want to do something for the crowd. Maybe I just want to get the 2 points. So it just depends on the mood of the game.
Gotcha. Is there anyone that you haven't done in a game that you'd like to do this year?
I want to go between the legs in the game. I just hope I make it in the game.
That's right. That's half the battle. What's your go-to sneaker on the court?
Well, we have a team shoe, which is the Kobe's, but if I had to play any other shoe, it would probably be Paul George's, just because I feel bouncy in those. So.
Okay. How about a sneaker off the court? You have a brand you prefer?
Probably Jordan. Jordan 1 is really my favorite shoe.
Okay. Have you been gaining any interest from college teams, and if so, what's that been like?
Well, ECU started picking up a lot of interest, and I heard from Campbell once before, but I'm just taking it day by day. I'm pretty sure it's going to pick up as the season goes on.
That's right. Now, last question for you, Najee. What's an interesting fact or an interesting skill that you have that people at home might not know?
I don't really have one. So I can play soccer.
Senior guard Bree Wall has been named the official Richmond County Female Athlete of the Week. The Richmond girls basketball team was busy over the holiday break, playing in 5 games and picking up 3 wins. In the 2 most recent contests, Wall posted a season high and helped the Lady Raiders earn their 8th win of the season. This is Wall's first career selection.
So, Bree, you and the Lady Raiders, even though you're back in school today for the first time, you guys stayed busy over the break. You played in the Sheets Invitational, and then you guys had 2 games last week, one of which you scored a season-high 10 points in against Anson. So let's start there. You had 7 points in the first quarters. Just walk us through that fast start for you and one of your best performances this year.
Well, coming from the Sheets Invitational, I had missed 2 games. So, I was just ready to get back on the court, ready to do what I had to do. Just fast start. That was all I knew.
What worked well for you?
Mainly the press is what helped me get my points, and then shooting the ball, I shot the ball really well that game.
Have you seen your confidence start to grow a little bit as the season's progressed?
Yeah, especially with that game right there. It boosted it a whole lot more.
Sure. The team is about halfway through the season. You guys are sitting at 8-4 right now. So what's the vibe on the bench and in the locker room being 4 games above 500?
Honestly, we're just trying to get better. We constantly talk about what we can do as a team to get better and move forward in the conference.
What are some of those things that you talk about getting better at?
Reducing on turnovers, passing the ball more, shooting the ball well. So, yeah.
So you just mentioned about getting better at conference play, and you guys travel to Hope County on Tuesday. How important is it that you guys kind of get out of this conference slump and pick up that first win?
It's really important because we're sitting last right now, so we have to get out of that slump really quick. So we had to do something Tuesday.
What do you think the difference maker will be Tuesday?
I really don't know. We're going to come out strong. I'm going to tell you that. We're going to come out strong.
All right. Well, I'll make sure we note that, and then we'll see if you guys come out strong as we're filming this Monday afternoon. So now, Bree, just for a couple of fun questions. So the first thing, who on the team do you think is the best dancer, has the best celebrations when y'all are just kind of goofing around?
Kat, Kiana Love.
What does she do?
She's the hype man, so she always brings the party to the team.
I gotcha. Okay. And you're at the early college out at RCC. So what's your favorite class this semester and why?
So far, my favorite class would have to be biology, 165. So it's a hands-on class.
It's a lot of lab work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun. Name a song or two that gets you kind of hyped up for games. If you had one song that you could listen to on repeat.
I have no idea. I just like music.
Just like it all?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And last question for you, Bree. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you want to go and who would you take with you?
If I could go anywhere in the world, I'd go to Cancun, and I would take my mom and my sister.
And that's going to do it for the RO Sports Show, of course, brought to you by Richmond CC. We appreciate them as the sponsor, which allows us to continue to bring you the best coverage of Richmond County athletes for free. For the latest updates on every sport, head on over to the richmondobserver.com and follow the Ross Facebook page for your weekly wrap-up. You can also find some exclusive RO Sports content on all social media platforms. In the meantime, I'm Matt Harrelson. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week on the RO Sports Show.